Joe, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on this Tuesday.
Thanks for having me, you guys. Excited to break down these games and what we saw last night. I tell you, as a Calgary fan, not the outcome I wanted.
No, certainly not, but a Canadian team still in the hunt for the cup. Does that mean anything to Joe Madden? We will discuss in just a moment. But it was the final two Canadian teams in the National Hockey League postseason facing off last night in a winner-take-all Game 7. And Joe, as the story has been in this series, decided by simply one goal. Edmonton wins in Vancouver 3-2 over the Canucks, but it was anything but easy. 3 goals in the third for the Oilers. The Canucks scored twice in the final 9 minutes of regulation, and then it was a mad fury to the very end. How will you look back on this 7-game set between these two Canadian foes?
Well, firstly, I want to say the Vancouver Canucks played an incredible season and series here versus the Edmonton Oilers, but it really came down to the fact that Edmonton came out so strong and so committed to playing that defense. That's something that Edmonton hasn't been known for. They haven't had that strength, and they did give Stuart Skinner that support in net. They also did phenomenally strong on the kill, and that was what ultimately got them the win in this game. They were able to convert on the power play as well. They went 1 for 2 on the power play, and they killed off a 4-minute penalty out there. Vancouver was high-sticked. Elias Pettersson got the high stick out there, and they went on that power play for 4 minutes. They weren't able to get anything done. You guys, they weren't even able to record a shot on goal. The defense for Edmonton getting those block shots, stepping in front of the net of Stuart Skinner was pivotal for them to be able to take that series. If Edmonton had just relied on their team offensively in that one, like we saw in the one game of the series where Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl both got 6 points apiece, they wouldn't have got past Vancouver, but because they committed to that defensive play, they're sitting here and they're going to move on to take on the Dallas Stars. I have to tip my hat to Edmonton, not the way I wanted to see it, but it is great to see a Canadian team making it into the conference finals here.
I'll tell you what's interesting about this, too. I sort of equate it sometimes to other sports show at the NBA where you can get a Game 7 and have a guy like Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves not play all that well. Now, I'm not saying Connor McDavid didn't play well, but you also take a look at Leon Draisaitl. Only 1 point combined between both of those players, and they won on the road in a game number 7. If we just take a quick look at Edmonton moving forward here, is there a lot of support for Edmonton? Do you think they are the best team in the Western Conference and how that winds up?
I really don't think they're the best team because you look at the Dallas Stars and you look at their depth. This is something I've always questioned for the Edmonton Oilers, and they did bench, actually, Corey Perry for the last 2 games. He wasn't out there. It's not official that it was benched, but in my opinion, it was. We did get that secondary scoring in that last game and in the game before, which is something Edmonton hasn't been able to do in, the first round and the first couple of this series. We were getting the main impact here from Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So we're seeing a little bit more of their depth out there. We're seeing those back checks and forechecks out of that top line. So they need to continue to play that way because the Dallas Stars, their depth is so elite. They have goalies or people who are able to score across the board out there for Dallas, and they have the stronger goaltender. So there's going to be struggles with them and Edmonton. If Edmonton doesn't play that defensive battle, Dallas is going to pick apart Stuart Skinner.